Watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I wanted to discuss the Misfits' second collection, that is Collection 2. This was released, I think, through Caroline back in, I believe it was 1997. This is the one that's got the Crimson Ghost on the cover, of course. And I remember back in high school, I tried to make the Crimson Ghost mask, this paper mache chicken wire thing I had to do for some class I was taking at the time, solely because of this record. And I pulled it off for the most part. It didn't look that bad, but then a few weeks later, I had it on, and a friend of mine thought it would be funny if they punched me in the face as hard as they could. And it busted my nose pretty good, and it completely fucking destroyed the mask. Like, I mean, I had it layered just right, and like the nose, even though technically the Crimson Ghost doesn't have a nose, it was out enough, and he fucking just drilled his fist right into where the nose was. And the chicken wire got cut in my face, and had these tiny little like chicken wire scratches. It was fun. I mean, I didn't mind, because that was just kind of how, like, you know, that's how friends should be, right? But it pissed me off because the mask looked pretty good. And I did it solely because of the cover of this record, and it helped me in some really pathetic way feel connected to the Misfits. And I was all kinds of a train wreck back in high school, I guess. But that was a hell of a long time ago, and we're not here to discuss my pathetic memories regarding this record. We're here to discuss this record. Now this, again, I think I said this in my Walk Among Us review. So the tracks that are on Walk Among Us that ended up on here, I like these versions more. I don't know what it is exactly. I like how the Misfits always employ different production techniques, different tuning techniques to sort of retool their songs over and over again. And I liked how it always felt honest, because traditionally when a band does this, or a band's music is subjected to this kind of treatment, it's usually just the same crap repackaged over and over again. Like, I can think of, this has happened to ABBA a lot, this has happened to Freddie Fender a bunch, where no matter how many times, you know, a person may have heard Dancing Queen throughout the course of their lives, these companies who repackage them and put some new artwork, some half-assed new artwork, mind you, and they put Dancing Queen on there yet again, and they think, oh, fuck, you know? And people are going to be completely fooled by the fact that, you know, this has got a new cover, and this isn't a new version of Dancing Queen, of course. It's just the same old Dancing Queen that everybody got sick of a long time ago. Now, I love ABBA. I've loved ABBA for a really long time, but I've never loved Dancing Queen. I love SOS, but that's another song. 2 for the Price of 1, that's another song that they tend to repackage a lot. And so that's what one would assume could be going on here with these Misfits collections, but that couldn't be further from the truth, because these collections, there's a lot of heart, and the different versions of the tracks, they feel legit. It doesn't just feel like a quick cash-in on the part of the label or the band or both in order to make a quick buck off their fan base. No, the versions on here are in a lot of ways what some people would consider the definitive versions. Like for me, like Nike A Go-Go is on here, and I prefer this version. This is the superior version of Nike A Go-Go by the Misfits, as opposed to the Nike A Go-Go that's on Walk Among Us. I like that version, but this is the version that I love. The other thing that I love about the second collection from the Misfits is that, much like Legacy of Brutality, this sort of has an honest 1950s, early 1960s vibe to it. And I'm sure that the production has a lot to do with that. And especially with tracks like Ratfink, Children in Heat, they legitimately sound like songs from a different era. And I know that you could argue, as of 2022, all of the Misfits songs are technically already on their own from a different era. But with songs like Ratfink and Children in Heat, they sound even that much more removed from the era from which the Misfits helped define. And I really like that. The Misfits, not just because of Danzig's voice sort of reminding everybody of Elvis, which of course it does, but I like how the Misfits have this sort of like legit 1950s vibe going for them. And yet at the same time, they sound gothically modern with their slight detuned guitars. And I absolutely love the Misfits feedback. The Misfits feedback that they employ at, like, from time to time, off the top of my head, I'd say on Earth A.D, the track, not just the record, but the track itself, their feedback is actually sort of eerie and scary sounding. And that's another thing that I've always loved about the Misfits, is like there's a real like impending sense of dread and doom, especially on tracks like Halloween. Like, I mean, on the surface, that song, if you don't listen to the lyrics, it's just fun and it's catchy, but there's something really evil seething underneath the surface of pretty much everything the Misfits wrote. Danzig sort of had that locked in, considering his love of like 1950s, 1960s era horror movies, whereas in a lot of times you could argue that they're sort of innocent, but beyond the innocence, there's something else sort of growing beneath the surface that is completely unhealthy and really, really vile. And that's one of my favorite things about the Misfits on the whole. And that is definitely one of my favorite things about this collection, is the fact that I buy into that more on this collection than I have with anything else that the Misfits ever released. This has that genuine like 1950s sense of dread employed. So I think I will leave it there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discuss the Misfits' second collection from, I believe, 1997. That is, of course, Collection 2. If you like this review, like always, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. You guys are amazing. And that was an ambulance that just roared past. I hope whoever that is okay. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button, because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.